Well, that's a guitar I'm never gonna see. Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. Yeah, this video's a little bit sad. Look at this piece right here. I was shopping on Reverb one night and I saw this beautiful Les Paul Custom. It's a very nice dark aqua blue color. It's got a quilted maple top. It's gold hardware, blingy as all get out. There's no pickguard on it though for some reason. And it appears to be in very clean shape. But these photos really called to me and said, hey, come check this out. Look how cool the top is. We've got all the cool custom multi-ply binding around the top. You've got the ebony fretboard with the mother of pearl inlays. In fact, I thought at this point in time, oh yeah, that's like a 2000s era custom, I would bet, because that's when quilt tops were pretty popular. So I keep scrolling through all these photos. Every single one I'm looking at makes me go, oh yeah, I like it even more. But then when I got to this photo, oh my, that's like late 80s, early 90s logo. We've got Kluson style tuners on it. Is that a figured ebony fretboard, or is it just uneven tooling marks? That one I don't officially know. So we flip it over to the backside. Okay, we've got some regular blue going on here. Looks like maybe even a little bit of vintage buffing compound still on the back plate. This thing must not have gotten too much use, but nothing would have prepared me for this next photo. Custom Shop Edition decal. And it's got the case candy. This was calling my name. So if you don't know, the Custom Shop Edition decals, they were first introduced in 1982, and they lasted all the way until around 1994. They don't make it through the full year, but it's a good 10 years or so where you could find Custom Shop Edition, meaning it was part of a limited run of some sort, particularly in the 80s. However, in the 90s, it would also refer to like catalog guitars and store exclusives. Or if you're really lucky, you can find one that says Custom Shop Original. That means you've got a true one-off that was custom ordered. So I like to collect those. 80s or 90s doesn't really matter to me. And then when I fully read the description, it said 1993. They wanted what I view absolute top value for this guitar would be at that point in time. Like, sure, if you're a USA dealer and you marketed it as much as like $5,500, would it eventually sell? Yes. It's just the 90s era customs, they're not quite commanding this much unless it's special. So normally, I don't like buying at top market value, even if it's for my personal collection, because that's not a good way to set yourself up for the future, right? You want to get at least a little bit of a deal. So I messaged them to see if maybe they would want to do like $4,500 shipped, because that's not too much of a haggle, all things considered. And they told me no, we'd just reduce the price. Apparently, this is just the first time they listed it on Reverb. And this is G Club, apparently produced by Kurosawa Music. I deal a lot with Kurosawa, not so much G Club, but after making sure they ship by EMS, because that means it'll be delivered by the US Postal Service, and they don't give you as many hassles as the other ones when it comes to international paperwork. And I decided, okay, I'm gonna pay the money because that's a really special 90s era custom. So they shipped it on June 28th. It was processed through Tokyo and then shipped on off to the United States, where it was inbound into customs over in Chicago. It was processed through the facility. Everything was going quite smoothly. And then it departed from Chicago, Illinois to the place where it needs to be sorted to get to me. And very unfortunately, this is now December 6th when I'm recording this episode. It never updated again. My beautiful, paid top dollar for 93 custom that you just can't replace is missing. Fell off the back of the truck somewhere. Usually what this means is it got stolen in transit. So the whole reason I'm making this video, other than just saying, hey, this is a beautiful Les Paul custom, I'm curious, does anybody else have another one that's exactly like this from the same run, is I'm hoping one day I might be able to recover this guitar. If you happen to have gotten this, it's not technically stolen. I cannot just take it from you just because I know that you have it. Because in fact, we really can't even read the serial number on this. And to make it even worse, this was on consignment. So this is a shop selling the guitar for someone else, and then it gets lost in transit. Man, what a nightmare situation. Now, obviously, I haven't been this patient. So after about a month passes, I message them because sometimes USPS, they can be kind of strange. International packages can take a month to two. So I was like, hey, hasn't updated in a month? You think you could check with the carrier, maybe see what's going on? So of course, these guys are very good. I would still purchase more guitars from them. Despite this situation, they say, thank you for being patient. They're doing a whole investigation. And I was also reaching out on the USA side, things like that. And I was just trying to be hopeful here. So through their investigations, trying to find where it was, they made me sign a paper that said I did not get this package so that they could consider it truly lost and they would basically pay out the insurance claim, assuming that they had it. And I just want to say, this is relatively uncommon. I mean, even these guys who ship internationally all the time are quite surprised. This is why when people ask for a lower declared value on international packages, A, that's illegal to do in general, but B, this right here, I'm not scared any guitar is going to get broken that I ship out or is incoming. The reason why I insure packages is because of this garbage right here, somebody stealing the box in transit. But sadly, even after I filled that out, which was August 25th, by the way, it took the post office well over another month just to agree that, yeah, it was gone so I could get my refund. So again, nothing against G Club here. Obviously, they can't give me my money back if the guitar's not confirmed lost. But here's where the things get even worse. I paid this amount for the guitar, but I only got refunded this amount, losing $560 in the process. You have to remember, when you purchase a guitar from a different country, this particular one being in Japan, and you check out with PayPal, there's a conversion spread rate, and normally they charge you very unfavorable conversion rates, so you're paying more than the actual one, and that's how they make their money, right? On top of the general fee. So at that time, what I agreed to pay was that $4,900. However, at the time of refund, that exact same amount, because the Japanese yen has been falling so much, was $550 less. So I just got denied a personal collection guitar, so I wasn't really happy about that. And then I'm gonna lose $550 for this privilege? I don't think so. So I call PayPal up and it's like, I paid you X amount for this. I think I should get the USD amount back because I don't think there's ever any conversion rates going on. Now, I'm sure you can argue both sides here, but going all the way through PayPal employees, unfortunately, there was no resolution made and they flat out told me just no. So naturally, I'm working with the seller, and he's working with Reverb, and after nearly another month here, Reverb did provide me a gift card. I then ended up using that gift card, I think, to buy some new old stock pickups to add to my collection. So at the end of the day, I'm really glad Reverb made this transaction whole. I shouldn't have had to have fought that badly just to get my money back, and I feel Reverb went above and beyond in this particular case. But what I want you to take from this story is if you are buying something internationally and it's from one of the countries where you are forced to use PayPal on Reverb, just don't do it, because that means Reverb can't help you. If you don't use their payment methods, which are only available in certain countries, they don't have the final say. So if Reverb's fighting PayPal and PayPal's just being a jerk, I mean, not everybody's like me that's gonna continue to spend money on the website anyway, so getting a gift card, that doesn't affect me at all. Whereas some people, they might not want to spend that $600 that they just lost on other gear. So yeah, think twice before you PayPal through Reverb if you think you're gonna have Reverb protection, because sometimes it's out of their control. Nothing against Reverb, that's just how it is. And if you're in the Chicago area and you happen to see this one somewhere, I just want to know where it is. It frustrates me knowing that it could still be sitting in the box in a sorting warehouse. Even if you personally stole this out of the truck, at least show me you happily playing your free $5,000 collectible 1993 guitar. But since we've got a little bit of time left today, let's check this one out. Labeled as a 1992 Gibson Custom Shop 1960 reissue, Tom Murphy Burbs, okay, a whole bunch of stuff. It's a 1992, technically in the prehistoric era, so not really a custom shop, but I'm betting we have some sort of a custom shop edition decal, and that's where the confusion is. But holy cow, that's a crazy bird's eye top. That's very common in the 90s, and pretty much only in the 90s, for Les Pauls anyways. You've got your ABR1 bridge. You won't have the long neck tenon yet, but this has got an interesting orange bursty color going on here. Not my favorite color scheme in the world, but the top made it unique enough that I wanted to share it with you. But you get this whole tangerine top with a very nice vibrant red cherry back. That looks similar to the custom shops of today, but it's got some wear. Frets have been nicely polished. And then you get to our headstock. All right. Just like I thought, Gibson Custom Shop Edition. And it does indeed date to 1992. But that's not where the fun ends on this one. For some reason, it's labeled an R6 in the bridge pickup cavity, which means it should be like double P90s, but I'm assuming that stands for something else in this case. But then look at that. Tom M. Now, I'm always really scared that there was a different Tom M that just happened to work during the era that Tom Murphy was also there. But I've had one of these Tom Murphy signed neck pickup cavity guitars. It was a mahogany top R6. Well, that's a pretty interesting one. And then look at this 70s SG standard. So I was just scrolling through my feed as I do constantly throughout the day, and I saw this out of the corner of my eye, and it's like, oh, it's one of those CME exclusive finishes. But then I started to look a little bit closer, and it's like, nah, that's a 70s case. Ooh. 100% without a doubt, that was a refinish, but I clicked on it hoping and praying it was a custom color, because there are custom color 70s SGs out there. But I can tell just by looking at this right away that it's not. But wishful thinking, right? Look how beautiful and pristine that headstock is. Very indicative of a very recent refinish. But then I started to get scared. Do you guys see this? That's a goof hider. That did happen stock from the factory, like if they messed up the finish when they were drilling the strap button, they just nail this thing in place, make it look fancy, ship it out the door. We even got a custom wooden strap button, it almost looks like. But seeing that in place made me think, okay, am I wrong? Is this actually a factory custom color? Then I saw the serial number and yeah, all that went out the door. But I will say, whoever did this refinish work, I love it. Problem with refinished guitars is you do not know what's hiding underneath it. But it appears most of the parts, save for the knobs, are original. You've got your tar back pickups in here still. Truss rod getting towards limited adjustability, I would say, but ooh, nice. This is the unbound ebony fretboard version. So SG standards in the 70s, you can find bound rosewood ones and unbound ebony. In my opinion, this is the one you want. They're a little bit less common, but an ebony fretboard on an SG standard, can't go wrong. They're always nice and rounded over on the edges. But what I thought was really cool is look at this. We've got a before photo. Apparently it wasn't in too bad a shape. It did leave the factory with that. That was not added. Oh man, that's got a really cool serial number. 11611, a repeater. Big props to this guy. If you are going to refinish a guitar, this is how you do it. You document. Because the serial number is now hard to read on this photo, but at least he has this very clear photo. That way somebody's not worried that you were trying to mask the serial number because you stole it. Then he's got a photo of the finish that he used, and then bam, it's looking pretty. Now how much is he asking? $3,000. Normally I would say no, it's overpriced for a refinished SG. But if he's got all the photos to prove that there's no breaks, cracks, or repairs underneath that, I could easily see somebody falling in love with this one and just wanting it because it was redone recently. It's basically a brand new guitar at this point, finish and cosmetic wise, but you've got all the cool vintage parts. Now ideally you could talk them down some, but I'm not interested, so I'll leave you guys at it. And then lastly, speaking of refinished guitars, look what showed up again, the AMD 64 guitar. So in case you missed the drama a couple of episodes back, this thing showed up ridiculously cheap on Reverb one night. A guy bought it, did a very terrible refinish of it, and then he sold it on, saying, yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't do a good job. And then here it is again. Somebody picked it up again and did a slightly better job refinishing it, but this time, no longer in any type of a green burst, it's just like a chocolate burst, I guess you could say. But we know it's still the same guitar. Apparently there's a lot of guys who like this whole graphics processor thing. That's an area I'm not really interested in. I don't know a lot about it, but apparently this was a pretty iconic thing for its day. So there probably was a market for it if he just would have let the big gaudy decal on the face of the guitar be instead of trying to refinish it. But it's nice to see that it did end up having kind of a happy ending fate to it, because now that it's been refinished, it was still relatively inexpensive, and I bet somebody is enjoying that a lot right now. All right, troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care.